Hey guys, welcome back to Irresponsibly.
Responsible.
With Kenyana.
And Kaya.
Or Kai.
And Ken.
And today we have a special guest, our bestie, and hopefully soon to be your bestie too.
Yes.
He's from Memphis and is on a 20-something journey along with Kaya and I. Mm-hmm. He has a psychology degree from Clark Atlanta University.
Shout out.
And is currently pursuing a master's at the University of Memphis. Mm-hmm. Hashtag very responsible.
Yes, indeed.
He brings a wealth of knowledge from diverse industries. He's a world traveler at heart and also has a passion for pop culture, especially the entire Real Housewives franchise. Which is your favorite?
Yeah, my favorite, honestly. Oh, that's a good question because Atlanta kind of dropped now. If I had a favorite right now, if I'm very transparent, Potomac.
Oh,
yes.
I knew you was gonna say that.
Love it.
Yeah.
So from Nene Leakes, of course, to Mariah Carey and Kim Kardashian, he's their number one fan. Welcome to the podcast, Douglas, aka Kim K, aka DJ.
We gonna get you for that
one. No, I am very happy to be here with my wonderful besties, and I'm very excited to get into some good conversation today.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, which kind of gets us into the topic. I was just admiring you as Kenyana did such a wonderful intro for you, and you were
thank you.
Mm-hmm. You were able to sit and bask in that. You were not like, shy. Sometimes it's hard for someone to read off your accomplishments in front of you, but you were able to bask in it and sit in it and accept it and knew we were speaking truths of you, which brings us into our topic of being unapologetically you and how you're able to execute that in your life.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you all for having me. I greatly do appreciate it. Living unapologetically, I cannot lie. It took a while. It did. I ain't gonna lie, because here we are sitting at 26. And it took a while to get to this point. I'm not going to lie. But as well, too, to speak on that, living authentically in and of yourself, I think, is a gift that is so amazing to give yourself as a person. But also just us as developing human beings. I just feel like we're young. We're 26. We're still navigating life. We already got so much stuff that's thrown at us every day. I couldn't imagine trying to be somebody that I'm not, or like trying to put on a facade of something like, oh, I got to be this person today, this person, that person. Mind you, not necessarily saying that you can't be multifaceted, but not being your authentic self, I think it's probably one of the hardest things somebody can do, especially as you get older, for sure. And two, honestly, too, if I had to elaborate more, I just feel like we live in a day and age now where, if you want to be very transparent, I think social media is the drug. I think people want to be somebody and be something that they're not. Yeah. And life isn't about that. Stuff happens. Life is real. You may have a good day this day, a bad one that day, a lukewarm one this day, but at the same time, you got to show up as your authentic self, because people are going to give you the most respect for showing up as your authentic self. You can't go into a work area or school or something like that trying to be another somebody or trying to play yourself off as somebody, because at the end of the day, eventually you're going to have a day where you like, you know what, I ain't even got it today. Like, I can't be this person. I ain't got the
capacity for it.
Exactly. So I tell people, show up as yourself, because one, you don't have to worry about being anybody else for anybody. But then number two, people will get a chance to know you more, so you can be authentic, and you don't have to necessarily show up as a different person every time you see these people. For example, with your in-laws, you can't show up as Betty Home Crocker for them and then come home and just be tired.
Crocker.
I'm sorry. I mean, Betty Crocker, the homemaker.
That's the black Betty.
Betty Home Crocker,
right.
baby.
Betty Crocker, the homemaker, and just showing off this person, and then you get home and it's like you're exhausted. Or even too, when you go home or when you're out with your friends, you show up as the party girl, something like that. It's too much. Baby, show up as yourself. We can be our authentic selves.
That's very true.
Ooh.
Yes. But tell me what you all think.
Wait, well, I wanted to know. Well, I mean, Kaya came up with this episode because it's like who you are. And like, for people that don't know Douglas, when you meet him, you're going to ask Kaya and I, where is Douglas? How is Douglas doing? Like, that's going to be the one person.
You're going to meet him one time and never forget him in the best way.
Very memorable. Like, he sticks with everyone because of his personality. And so what I was going to ask is like, I had a friend ask another friend, do you ever get tired of being so outgoing and being yourself? Does that get draining, being the happy person and the person that, you know, everybody wants to get a laugh out of and everything? So,
oh, that's a thank you for that. That's a very good question. If I'm very honest, I can say this for me personally. I love showing up as myself, like I really do, because at the end of the day, I like to think I'm one of the most multifaceted people, in my opinion. Honestly, that's not even like a brag on myself, but I really do try to be as positive and as wonderful to people as possible. Whether that's staying upbeat, whether that's, you know, keeping a positive attitude, stuff like that. I feel like we live in a day and age where, I ain't gonna lie, it's a lot of sadness out here. It's a lot of reasons to be sad out here. Bills, taxes, economy, ghetto politics, fighting each other every day in a country where y'all supposed to be serving just the greater good of one people. I digress. It's just a lot of stuff that we could really be upset about every day. But at the same time, I learned a long time ago, you cannot wallow in the negativity. You really can't focus on it in this day and age. And you just gotta show up as your best self, honestly. And for me personally, that is being polite to everybody. That is trying to make sure people are having a good day. That is, you know, wanting people to just feel their best and be their best. And I think that possibly stems from me being a person who, like I said, I just want people to feel good, because I know what it feels like to be down and to be sad and to, you know, be upset or have thoughts and feelings that I necessarily don't want to convey to people, but at the same time dealing with it myself and just trying to get through it. But I don't necessarily want people to see that. So I think after years of really being able to self-regulate and really being able to get in contact and get in touch with my own feelings, it really has led me to really becoming a good person. Now, does it get tiring? Oh my God. Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, like I said, it's some days you don't want to show up. Like, I wake up some days, like, just like we were talking about the other day, who I was in high school and who we were in high school, getting up at 5:45, going through traffic, making it to school, doing 8 hours of class. After that, going to extracurriculars until 5 or 6 p.m. Then you go home to do homework. Then you go home to do extra stuff after the homework is done, only to get in bed at 11 and do it all over again. That is an exhausting schedule.
And that was, we were children.
I know, but you know, it just sounds like a very grown schedule.
Right. No, it does. Like, we were grown AF, and I tell people that all the time. Like, I don't think folks understand going to high school, especially in Memphis, but especially with all three of us and the schedules and the extracurriculars we had, I think it kind of molded us for the life that we have kind of set up for ourselves now, where we are booked and we are busy and we are doing a lot. But at the same time, does it become exhausting? Absolutely. Sometimes I don't want to show up because it's like, dang, I got to be Douglas today. And then too, especially when you have people who depend on you for that. For example, like people who look forward to seeing you every day. Now, disclaimer, I love everybody. I love seeing my people. But everybody has those days where, like you said before, sometimes, for example, taking Kaya, when you go down there with them people and you be like, and you be sitting there like, you know, every day I can't be Kaya the activist, you know? Because, you know, sometimes you just want to sit there and be Kaya the worker. Like, I'm good.
No, I will say, just because I work with youth, especially. So it's like, okay, it's like you gotta flip a switch almost. And I do it because you want to give those students that you working with like the best you. Yes. But sometimes to turn on that switch, it's just like, Lord have mercy. Exactly. Even though this is for the greater good, this is to develop young minds, and you know, this will pour into someone else, which is a gift that you have, because it ain't easy. Folks can always be an outgoing personality, but it's not authentic. Exactly. And so I think one thing about you is you show up very authentically, but I can see how it can be draining when you're just not up to it some days.
Absolutely. And even too, just to double back on that, even for you as a new mother, going back to work and, you know, adjusting to being a mom, but then having to adjust to going back to being the employee and the worker, I know that was probably like, dang, I'm comfortable in my house and my baby, and now I gotta go back in the world with these people. I understand. I fully do, because it's like you get used to doing what you want to do, but then when you have to show up with the stuff you have to do, which is like work, school, responsibilities, you do be like, Lord.
And that's when you put on the facade, because I mean, they know me, and I'm there like, I don't want to be here, but y'all know why I don't, because I have a baby at home, and maybe at heart I really don't want to either, but it's like, still you have to act like you care sometimes. And I don't even want to talk about myself because it's more so about you. But I know we were talking about yesterday, like, we went to Bonefish for brunch, and they brought Douglas's. We don't know what's the plural form of Douglas's or Douglas.
I feel like since it ends in an S, it could really be either or. Just as long as we put that apostrophe, we'll be fine.
Like, we don't know how to say it. So, Douglas's food came out first, and then Kaya's and I's came out like 15 minutes later. So he had got done eating, or his food was cold. So I told the lady, I was like, well, y'all said y'all had an extra shrimp, bring it out for him.
Yes.
And Kaya was like, oh, you're so stern, you didn't ask her, you strongly suggested that she bring it out. And I was like, oh wow. And I'm like, but some people take that wrong. In my point of view, in my experience with people, it's like they think I'm harsh or mean, and if you don't get me, then it's like you don't like me necessarily.
But you stick true to being you, and the outcome show. So it's not like you just being out here not yourself or trying to be, you know, rude to other people. By you staying true to you, your outcome was baby girl gave us another plate of shrimp.
Right. And on top of that too, just to add on to it, because I always say this, that's one of the things I admire the most about you. And like you said, to people who don't know you, I think that it could come off maybe aggressive or stern or whatever they want to call it. But at the same time, knowing who you are, you just tell it like it is. Like, y'all say y'all had another shrimp? Go ahead and bring it out.
You're not bringing it to anybody.
Right. Like, I mean, it's there. It was made. It's sitting up there in the little heat lamp or whatever. Bring it out.
I'm about to eat it.
So. Right. So come on and bring it out. But I definitely, and also to shout out to my girl, because I ain't gonna lie, y'all know y'all see those memes and stuff on TikTok and Twitter where it be like when the man sits there, but then his wife or his partner would tell the waitress his roux order was wrong. I felt like that yesterday. I was like, I ain't gonna say nothing, but I was so thankful you said something, because I was like, I want to say something, but no, you did, and I was so grateful.
I'm glad. I hope the shrimp was good for you.
It was. I ain't gonna laugh. Y'all, shout out, even though we're not getting paid, to that nice little place called Bonefish.
Shout out to y'all Bang Bang Shrimp.
Man.
Them little Brussels sprouts.
Oh,
yes.
The Kung Pao. What was it?
Man, Kung Pao sauce. Yeah.
And
shout out to them blueberry lemon drops too. Y'all knew what y'all doing.
It's a Bonefish episode, y'all.
Sponsored.
But I'll tell you this, going back to the main point, does it become exhausting sometimes? It absolutely does, because at the end of the day, I ain't gonna lie, it's necessarily not a lot that I give out to the world, because I've just been so used to giving it, but it does take a toll sometimes where it's like you ain't got the energy for it, but people depend on you in order to show up as that person. So yeah, I mean, I just kick it into overdrive. I still try to be myself. The energy may be a little bit low on them days, but it's still the authentic Douglas that everybody knows and loves. So yeah.
And then Miss Kaya over here. Okay, Kaya's like the sweetest person, right?
Yes.
She's like super graceful. Like, she takes her time with things, and to me, I'm like, if she don't hurry up. But then it's like she can do things so graceful, and like I would do it and mess it up like off rip. And so I really admire that about her. But no one has ever like really seen you upset unless you're in a car with her.
Oh yeah.
And you're on the road rage in the Memphis streets, you will see a different side of Kaya. But she's like everyday sweet, no matter what she goes through. We even were talking about today, you had a rough day, but like you still showed up how we know you, right? Like you don't let your day get the best of you. And so I just want you to speak to that, because we need to know how to do that.
Yeah, so I'll speak to that, but I brought up the topic of being unapologetically you because I feel like I struggle with that. Like,
really?
Wow. Yeah, like I wanted to bring you on because I admire, like I learned from my friends. Yeah, we've been friends for over 10 years now. So like I'm always learning from them. But especially now that I'm like getting older, this is a post-pandemic world. I'm in new spaces with family and work. And I'm just like, okay, I'm pretty much a kind person. I say almost anything, but I'm gonna say it in like a kind way. Like even when I'm in the office, my director is like, see, you gotta watch Kaya how she say stuff, but she gonna say it right. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna say it right. But sometimes I wish I could say how I felt. And I know you can't lead with your emotions all the time, but I do wish that I had a little bit more of that. Like, I need to express my boundaries in this way, and I want other people to treat me how I feel the need to express. But I don't know if I'm showing up in I don't want to say in a fake way, because I'm definitely a real person. I'm not fake, but sometimes I feel like I do put on kind of a facade and not give the world my all, or not give the people in my space my all. And, you know, I guess I'm still learning from that. But that's why I brought up the topic, just to hear from y'all too, of like the outspoken people I know. Like, I gotta quickly tell this story. I don't know if I did already, but Kenyana, we used to nails done every 2 weeks, baby. Like, I don't even know. We didn't have
nails yesterday.
They look good. They really do.
You want to come in the salon?
Absolutely.
I can do manicures.
No, we should have been doing
it.
that back in the day, because I don't know how we had nail money every 2 weeks, but also nails used to be $20.
Yeah, nails used to be cheap.
And we didn't even have a job then. Now I got a job and got to do my own nail. Okay.
And still can't afford it. But all that to say, we was in the little nail shop. I don't think I've been to this one. Maybe I've been to it before, but you know how they'll have like little beverages. Back in the day, it was starting to be new. They had a little refrigerator. You go get your soda.
I know what you're about to say.
But nowadays, you know, they'll bring your wine. But then it was like, okay, maybe a snack bowl. And I was looking, I was like, dang, I really want one of them. I don't even know what it was, a Sprite or something. I'm like, but I don't know if I should go grab it. And Kenyana turned to me and she was like, if you was a little white girl, would you be asking yourself if you could go and grab that? It sat out there for a reason. And I'm like, dang, you know what? You right. But the thing is, like, why did I have to question myself? I know this is for patrons of the salon. I know this, but sometimes I just over reserve myself because I don't want to make the shop people feel uncomfortable because this girl went up here to grab this, or I don't want to make it seem like I'm being, what is the word? You don't want to be a bother or a fuss. You don't want to make a fuss over anything. And so I'm just like, well, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. And Kenyana said, you should. And I did. And I moved with that lesson like every day. Y'all, this was like, we 26. I was probably 14 when this happened. But I'm trying to move with that and embody that and learn from y'all of how to express myself and be myself in every space. I think I may camouflage too much depending on the space that I'm in.
Interesting. Sidebar. Just like you don't remember that Lunchable that you shared with me, I do not remember telling you this, but this sounds very on brand for me. So I give it to you every time you tell the story, but I'm like, girl,
I live with that.
I'll say this. If I was there, I definitely would agree with Kenyana for sure. Like, girl, get this Sprite. Because at the end of the day, they didn't put it out for you not to want it. So at the end of the day, if them folks put it out there, just like me when I go get my nails done now, they have a 3-drink maximum. I drink 3 drinks. Now, do I have to? No. But at the same time, y'all offering the 3 drinks. It's complimenting my service. Go ahead and pour them up, because at the end of the day, it's not necessarily being gluttonous or taking away from them or making a fuss. It's just like, enjoy the accoutrement. Like, it's there for you. Like, go ahead and enjoy it. And then two, even showing up as your authentic self. Now, this is something that I'm learning new, because I never knew that you struggle with this necessarily. But at the same time, my best piece of advice, honey, I'll say this. Once you start paying bills and once you start getting grown and you start really taking responsibility for some stuff, I promise you I got in that bag fast. It was like, if I'm paying y'all, especially if I'm paying for a service too, God, this needs to be right. Because I tell you this, and I don't know if I've shared this before, this goes back to even like when my mom used to go back into the drive-thru, and you know how your food be wrong and stuff, and as a young kid, I used to be like, girl, like, you ain't got to make a fuss about that. Like, you know, like, she'd tear them folks up like, no, I don't want this. Y'all need to take this back. And mind you, when I was young, I didn't necessarily know why she would make a fuss about it. But now as a grown adult who's making my own money, and I sat in this line, I've waited for y'all to make my food, and I done got it, and all the time y'all took to give it to me, you didn't get it right. Oh no, we're gonna sit here and I'm gonna wait, and you can go ahead and redo it. And like Kenyana said, it's not being mean, it's just asserting yourself in, I'm paying for this is something that I requested that you all are supposed to do. Let's go ahead and get it done properly. And then if it's not done, we can sit here and we can look at each other, but I'm not moving until it gets done.
So I think this is a good segue, because we are growing up, we're making money, you know, I'm starting to find a little bit more of that groove, especially in like, you know, just life. You're right, I'm working hard, I'm paying my money, I should get that respect. But so if we're talking about being unapologetically you, setting your boundaries, how does that transition into communicating that across your family and across those different generations? Because we have multi-generational, not households, but we still interact with our older aunts. Our parents are older. We got a couple generations that we try to communicate with regularly. We're very heavily involved in our families, all three of us. So how does that same gifting yourself of being unapologetically you transition to them? Because it's not as easy when you got like emotions involved and family trauma and history. So what has your journey been like expressing yourself to your family and across those generations, from maybe your oldest family member to your cousins that you kick it with?
Absolutely. That's a very good question. Thank you for that. I think the way that I've shown up transitioning from being young DJ to now Douglas the adult.
DJ. I love it. I call him DJ. He be like, watch yourself.
But no, that's a very fair question. I think the way that I've done it genuinely, I tell people I'm grown. Like I show up just like that. Like,
and what about before you was grown?
Because you've been you.
You've been you as Kenyatta's known Douglas since elementary.
And Douglas has been Douglas. Okay, like memorable. Like if we weren't even friends and I knew who he was. Same. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody loved him. He was so outgoing. So it's like that part.
Yeah.
So let's give us like a timeline. Like how has it changed from when you were a little DJ, or has it? Wow.
I can tell y'all that it hasn't, and that's one thing that people, especially y'all too, but other people have said as well. Like, I've never really changed myself. I just have always shown up authentically me. Like, and that's one thing that people always say, like, oh, well, how did you do it? I really had no other choice. Like, I was just me. Like, I never faked the funk for nobody.
That's a God-given gift.
Like, I never faked the funk for nobody. Now, mind you, you got a code switch when going to some rules. So, like, you can't be like authentically yourself, like at work or this or that. But majority of it, I am still showing up as myself. Now, how did that transition from childhood to adulthood? Honestly, as a kid, and I'm gonna say this, I've always been opinionated. I'll call it that. Everybody's always said Douglas had a mouth. Douglas has had something to say, and that's true. I've always said something to say.
Who were these people? Is this like your family?
My family, my aunts and uncles, and people and older figures and stuff like that. So funny enough that it used to actually offend me because, for example, my mom had a coworker one time, right? Sweet lady or whatever. However, she always had an opinion about me and my mother's relationship, because anybody who knows me and my mama, we play all day. That's my best friend. Like, I swear to y'all. And mind you, we do talk, we banter.
Shout out to Jackie.
Shout out to my girl. We do go back and forth. We banter. We do this, we do that. But that's the relationship we had. Like, it's funny. It's fun. No harm meant by it at all. Like, that's just like my play partner or whatever. So one day, this person ended up coming out their face and say, oh yeah, and DJ is just so disrespectful. What do you, and this thing, and I think that it triggers a switch in me, because this is something else I've learned about myself. I don't speak on anybody else's relationship, especially when it comes to parents and things like that, because at the end of the day, people grow up with different traumas. People grow up with different, different relationships and stuff like that. That's one area of life that I know that I've never really commented on other people, because you never know what folks have gone through with their parents. You never know what a parent may have done or what they haven't done or stuff like that. So I just always left the room for me and my mama, thick as thieves, tight as whatever. But don't say that I'm disrespectful because you've heard a small bite of a conversation that we were playing in. Like, I just find that to be redundant. And
how old were you around this time?
Ooh, I was about 12 or 13. And let me tell you, should I have said what I said? No. And I'm not saying towards my mom, I'm saying about the lady, because my mama told me I went too far. But I told her she can shut up. And I said that right at 13 to a grown woman, because the thing is this, this is gonna sound so bad. I'm not a mean person by no means, y'all. I promise I'm not. But I am an individual where I give the same respect that I expect back. So if I'm nice to you and polite to you and I don't have any negative qualms about you, I'm not going to speak on it. And that's just how I feel. If you got anything negative to say, especially about a child that you really necessarily don't know, shush. That's just like somebody, if you and, for example, if Drace grows up and let's say y'all are roughhousing on the playground or something, and somebody say, oh, well, Drace tackled his mom too hard. What?
He probably did.
Right, he probably did. But if I'm playing with my kid and I ain't really injured, it was what it was. Like, he's not abusive, beat me or whatever have you. We're just playing around. Exactly. But what if somebody say, oh my God, he's going to grow up to be an abuser? You'd be like, well, dang, hold
it's
up,
like
man.
the context is not there.
Exactly.
Like, they're just, how they say, you taking everything out of context because you're not in that person's life. You just
exactly. And I tell people all the time, even growing up as a kid, being opinionated and having something to say. One thing about that I always say, I was never disrespectful, but if I didn't agree with something or something was off, I can voice my opinion and still be respectful to people.
And I can see where the disconnect comes from with that, because baby, my parents, they're like almost 60, but my mama is old school. Kids stay in kids' business. You stay out of grown folks' business. You can't say this to this person. And to a certain degree, I'm like old school also. And so I know that was probably a challenge, because you talking to an adult. You supposed to just sit there and take it.
And listen.
And and maybe I internalized it too much. That's why I'm a camouflage and, I got some type of...
Are you answering your own question?
I think I am, the more we talk through this. But hearing you, I just, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, DJ, you should have shut your up and let this grown folks say something. But then in another side, it's like, okay, you do want kids to have that space to express.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And too, as well, I'm gonna say this, I was never disrespectful to people. That was one thing about me I always told folks. I'm the nicest, sweetest, politest person on the planet, because that's who I am naturally. But I am a Gemini. When that switch clicks, get away from me, because best believe I didn't take it there at first, but now that we've gone there, I'm going to do it better. I've always told people that I don't never start none, but I end it fast, because that's just who I am, and we don't have to talk about it. But at the same time, I'm with you. I'm in the same boat, which is kind of hypocritical of me now that I'm thinking about it.
Don't cover your mouth. Say it out loud.
But even as an adult now,
put it in the mic.
As an adult now, when I see kids around grown-ups in a conversation, I don't be wanting to filter myself. I be wanting to tell the kids get to the back. But I hate it when people did that to me.
I do. And I be like, why are you in the room?
No, seriously. For real.
My cousin sold a sidebar. He was like flexing Drake's feet. I said, what are you doing? He was like, I'm playing with him. You don't know how to play with no baby? He was freaking me out. That's a total sidebar.
No, I get it.
Shout out to you,
but no, we're transitioning into the adults that we either had in our lives or that we wish we had in our lives.
Yep. And too, just to kind of go back to it, of course, but the way that I made the transition from younger to older, I think I've just always been in that space of, we can talk all day and we can be respectful, especially when adults used to say, oh, well, my word is this and I'm going to say this and that's that on that. I ain't never really went for that. Mind you, I take that back. I never really went for it if I agreed to it. Like, if it was something simple, like, y'all need to be doing this, and I knew I wasn't supposed to be, okay, cool. Like, it is what it is. I'm going to respect that. But if it was something outlandish, like, oh, for example, let's talk about it. Mind you, let's go.
Now you pointed.
I couldn't stand as a kid when folks would be like, oh, yeah, kids only get hot dogs and hamburgers. The adults eat ribs and chicken. I'm sorry, I'm a guest up in here too. What y'all mean? No, give me a rib, give me some chicken. I felt like it was the segregation of it all. You gonna give me the good food too. I'm a kid, and then they trying to make you drink juicy juice. I want a Sprite. Like, come on now. Like, let's keep it fair and consistent across the board. If y'all gonna do it, at least let me be able to do it too. Because at the end of the day, why am I eating a ballpark Frank and y'all having ribs? Really?
You're funny,
man. Like like I said, I'm all for equal and fair treatment across the board, whether you're a kid, whether you're an adult. As long as it's fair and consistent across the board, I like it. But don't be one of them folks that's very hypocritical and you go ahead and say something good for y'all, but then you get the kids to scraps. I ain't never really been a proponent of that before. And then too, just to wrap it up, going into adulthood, I think now, because that's something that I actually struggle with, not even struggle with, but me and my mom actually, because I'm still living in the house. Yes, you can be 26 and live at home, y'all. We living in a bad time. The economy is crap. However,
all of us we're living at home this year.
Right. And one thing that I learned that me and my mom really had to get to an understanding of is that I'm not a kid anymore. For example, this happened when I first moved back from college, 2021, when the pandemic hit. Okay. Mind you, I'm going out to see y'all somewhere. We were meeting up somewhere late one night or whatever have you. I'm used to coming and going as I please. And imagine me getting dressed at 10. I'm going to walk out the door and then my mama say, where you going? sister, I'm gonna leave with you. But mind it had been 4 years since somebody had ever asked me, where are you going? So I ain't gonna lie, it definitely was an adjustment and definitely was a transition. And even now too, when it comes to certain things, like my mom is used to her word being final and last, and baby girl, that just ain't the case no more. Like, I'll listen to you and you can have an opinion and I'll fully take it into consideration. But please understand, my decision is going to be the last one for me personally. Like I said, you can make decisions for the house as this is your home, but when it comes to what I do with my money and what I'm going to do, it's just me. And like I said, I think conveying it in a respectful manner is always going to get you further than you asserting yourself, especially black mamas. But at the same time, I always tell people, if we can respectfully have a conversation with one another and get our points across in a very respectful manner, it's no reason why we can't come to a resolution or to some understanding of one another. But that's essentially how that happened, developing from childhood into adulthood.
Okay. So, what did you, or you want me?
No, I mean...
Okay.
Whatever you want.
I mean, you talked about understanding, because I think that's the part that we probably miss as our parents look at us, and as we look at my child or people younger than us, we don't understand them.
I can understand.
Because, I mean, this newer generation is very brisk and very... somebody was talking about the words Ohio or Oregon meaning
skippity dewdrop. Child, yes. It's a world out here
like
we wouldn't
that,
know.
You know, children identifying as animals now.
Child, oh my God, yes.
And I don't want to shame them, but it's like, it's different, right? Like, it's like, that's an experience that you all are going through that we did not go through.
Yeah.
And you know how we used to grow up like, our parents just don't understand me. Like,
I got them colored skinny jeans.
This new music. We didn't listen to that back in the day. And now we like, y'all really got that new music. Yeah. We didn't listen to that.
But to the point of this, I feel like that goes into expression, people's personality, and that also goes into how people express themselves. They may also express themselves through their sexuality, and a lot of children nowadays feel way more comfortable, I feel like, doing that than just like the last generation. Even more. Like, the most you had, you was gay or you wasn't. But
pronouns on nothing. Nothing.
Stuff changed in like 8 years, and that's not a problem or anything, but it's like, okay, people have always been striving to express themselves in the way that they want to while maintaining their individuality. Do you feel like you went through challenges with expressing yourself through your sexuality, amongst your friends, amongst your family, previously and currently? And you don't have to say anything that you're uncomfortable with, but we do want to look into just how, and that's something that can be posed to all of us, really, because I got something to say about everything. But how do you feel about that part of your identity?
That's a very good question. I thank you for it. I think for me personally, growing up, I always tell people, I didn't necessarily grow up in a very religious home, but obviously my mom was black. We were Christian household.
Black, the South, like down in Mississippi family.
Exactly. Yeah. So we were in a Christian household, of course. Right. No, you're right. You can say it. And I ain't gonna lie. It was definitely, like I said, you grow up, you hear kids talking about, oh, well, this is gay, this is this is that. Now, fun fact, origin story of how I knew. This is just a quick sidebar. And when I don't think y'all have, and this is so funny for me to actually say out loud now. So when I was younger, I was a part of 106 and Park generation. So, it was like, you come home after school, 106 Park comes on at 5, it's top 10 countdown, you see your favorite artist for 2 hours, it's everything, right? So, this around 2003, 2004, and mind you, during this time, Usher had come out with Confessions. So, when I tell y'all, I was watching BET one day, and I saw this man coming. I don't know if he was in the Burn music video or whatever music video he was in, but he didn't have his shirt on. And I knew at that moment something was different. Because I knew. I knew. And people always ask, like, what did you know? I knew that man was fine. I knew. Like, it was something, not even say even primal, but I knew in my head that man was fine. Fast forward to even when I was in, like, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and my friends had, like, the fine daddies or whatever. Oh, I knew. Oh, I knew. And like I said, I don't know where it came from. I just knew that man was fine. I knew. Now... go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, so in knowing that, you didn't have an overly religious pair of parents, but like in knowing that and like you starting to think that, did you kind of, I don't want to say like give yourself any type of religious or societal like judgment, even if it wasn't coming outwardly, which maybe it did come from other people. But did you ever give yourself like, oh, I kind of feel this way, but then I know that some people may feel this way about it. Like, did you give yourself that judgment?
Absolutely, I did. Hell, from the moment I started knowing I like men, like I knew. And that was the thing. I never liked boys. I always like grown men. That's how I really knew. That's how I knew. Because, you know, you go to school with, like, boys and stuff, like, fifth grade. No, you laugh. Fifth grade, sixth grade. I never found, like, guys my age attractive. But them older ones, oh, honey, I knew. So, therefore, I ain't gonna lie. Going back to it, did I ever have those thoughts of it? Absolutely. Because, you know, you hear stuff from like adults, elders, like punk, sissy, this and the third, and necessarily you don't want to really give them any ammunition to talk about you or target you or stuff like that. So at the end of the day, I kind of, you know, kept it to myself, of course, because, you know, you're young, you're navigating life, you necessarily don't know how people gonna feel about it. Well, actually, scratch that, I knew how people would feel about it, but you don't know how to be received. And then too, as well, you know, you see stuff on TV all the time about, you know, LGBTQIA kids getting kicked out their homes and disowned and stuff like that. So really, I really held back on who I was to my parents and family up until the time I got to be about 17, 18, because really, I knew for a fact that I had to at least get myself, and like I said, maybe it's because I'm a doomsday thinker, but I always told myself, in case I do say something and it goes left, I have to have somewhere to go or the ability to go somewhere. Mind you, I didn't know if my mama would kick me out. I didn't know if my dad would kick me out. I didn't know what was going to happen. But in the doomsday mind in my head, worst case scenario of what could happen, at least if I'm out of their home and I'm at college or I'm somewhere, it'll give me some time to figure out my next game plan while I'm away from them and I know what I'm doing. So in a sense, it kind of brought out the survivor in my head, honestly, because had I, like I said before, had they thrown me out, I was going to land on my feet. I didn't know where I was going to land, but I knew I was going to have to. So, yeah, I'll say, you know, from about, like 5 to 17, I really kept it under wraps. And then, sidebar, coming out story. I didn't really even have a coming out story, if y'all want to be honest. My mama asked me one day, where we at? We were in the kitchen. And what's so funny is that she asked me, she was like, oh, and I don't know, y'all, I don't know what kicked up in my spirit. I don't know what kicked up in me. I was just bold this morning. I don't know what happened. I was 17 years old, and now I was 17 going into graduation. So this is 2016 year.
We remember.
Yeah. And lo and behold, she asked me one morning, and she was like, so you don't like no little girls at school or something like that, or what's going on? Like, you ain't gonna bring nobody home to see me? And for some odd reason, I just don't know what kicked up in my spirit. Maybe I was comfortable, maybe I was over it. But I said, no. I said, but I'll probably bring home a man to see you. And the room got silent. And then, you know, you had that little Twilight moments on where it's like, oh, bitch, did you say that for real?
That 12, 13 Douglas that said shut up to their coworker came out.
And I promise it came out so natural, but I think I was tired of, like, hearing the question of, when you gonna bring a girlfriend home? When you gonna do this? When you gonna do that? Because, like, dog, if I ain't brought one home now, I ain't showing no interest. Let's wrap this up. Y'all know what the deal is. So, at the end of that, I think I said, I was like, no, but I'll bring a man home to see you. And then she looked at me, and I looked at her.
And she looked at me.
Right. And she was just like, well, as long as you're safe and as long as you're happy, that's the only thing I can ask for. And she did it right there. And I was like, woo. I said, okay. I was like, dang. I said, oh, my God.
What type of relief did that feel like?
You want to know something, if I'm very honest with you, too? It was a sense of relief, of course, but I will always say this. I know who my mama is. I know how good-hearted of a person she was. And, too, if y'all want to be very straightforward with y'all, even if she did try to kick me out, I wasn't going.
You and your man wasn't going.
Man, try to put me out if you want to. I'm be on this doorstep every day, picketing out in front of your house. She threw me out. She threw me out. Yeah, I'm calling the NP. I'm calling everybody. Because like I said before, you ain't gonna put me out. You ain't got no other choice. But going back to it though, I knew the type of mom I had, and I'm very grateful to God every day for her, because she really was able to foster an environment where I could thrive as myself and be myself. She never forced me into sports. She never told me to man up. She never told me to, basically like, masculinize myself, if that made sense. Like, she never really forced that on me. She really just loved me authentically as me. And I think that that's such an underrated blessing that not a lot of people really know about, to have a mother who, like I said before, just loves on you unconditionally. Because a lot of black mamas will say it. Right. A lot of black mamas will say it, but they'll throw it back in your face. So they'll try to put a precautionary tale on, like, oh, I love you unconditionally, but you can't be this, you can't be that. And more often than not, it is if you're gay, or if you're this, or if you're that, or trans, or something like that. So I'm just grateful to God for the mother that I was given, because like I said before, I can never pay that woman back for me being able to be my authentic self and growing up. And even to go back to our early conversation, she really was a major part of me being my authentic self, because she never really stifled me in that. Even when my aunts and uncles would say slick stuff, my mom was right there to be like, and what about it? She was very,
Who's
very...
on Jack?
Exactly. She was very... And then too... And I don't know if I can say this, but this probably leads to our next one. If y'all want me to be real, I knew for a fact that even though I was gay, I knew for a fact that I had to succeed at everything, because I knew my family. I know they always got a freaking opinion. I knew that I had to succeed at everything, because like I always say, you can hit me on being gay. You can talk about that all day. Say it, revel in it, throw it up in my face. Do what you want, because it is true. But I bet you won't be able to hit me on nothing else, career-wise, school-wise, civic-wise, traveling-wise. You were never. And like I said, it wasn't even a necessary competition, but I knew if you wanted to go there, let's do it. But don't be mad my receipts line up and yours don't. So, yeah.
That's giving Real Housewives franchise right there. Too many Potomac episodes, too many Atlanta episodes.
But I ain't gonna lie.
That's reunion. This is a reunion.
Absolutely. But I ain't gonna lie. Real Housewives, if you want to be very honest, that one taught me how to really think quick on my feet. When it came to comebacks and stuff, I ain't gonna lie. You watch a few seasons just to learn. I ain't gonna lie. Especially in school, too, when folks talk about you, you gotta be quick on your feet. Because you ain't gonna punk me. I used to tell people that all the time. Say what you want, but you'll never win an award words against me. Ever, because I know what I'm gonna say. I know how to get under your skin, and I can hit you low in a respectful manner, of course, and in a disrespectful manner. You want to talk about me? Let's talk about your husband. Let's talk about the felonies. Let's talk about stuff you don't want out there. Let's do it. But yes, I digress.
We do have a final question, but I want to say this before, because one of the comments or notes that we made, because we had this little prerequisite conversation yesterday, is about being confident, right? And you can tell when a person is faking who they are, because it's like your confidence not really there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you gay, I'm not gonna say just be gay, but like, you gonna be confident and comfortable with who you are if you're able to, right? And it's like you're gonna wholeheartedly express yourself in your capacity. If you don't want to dress drag, or if you don't want to dress like this, like that's not something that you have to do. But that doesn't say, oh, he's not true to himself, homosexual, blah blah blah. He's not a true gay. He's not true this, and it's like, no, this is him living his truth with his personality, with his confidence, with his mom, with his family, and his life in his shoes. And so I think that's something that's worthwhile, because people set expectations on what you should be like when you say you are something.
Oh yeah.
You don't let any of the labels over identify you. I like that you brought that up, Kanana,
absolutely.
People still have an idea of what a gay black man should look like, or what it should sound like, or what. So like, you just confidently express yourself whichever way, whatever way the stereotypes are coming from.
Absolutely.
And that's to you, ma'am, because you were like, okay, how do I transform? Because each year we are different. Like, I'm a mom, and okay, if somebody want to explain me to be me, but I feel like now I have another level of love to me, right? Another level of care that I didn't have before. So it's like I can shift just a little bit. People will be like, oh, you gave me a hug, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a hugger now. I didn't used to be a hugger, but now it's like I have a sense of love that I got from this child.
I'm trying to think.
And now you saying like, okay, you want to be something, just allow yourself to shift in a way that feels great to you, and just see how people respond. As long as you're true to yourself. You know what I'm saying? And if they respond a certain way that's like, okay, that's not you. No, this is me now.
And I know we have a last question coming up, but I got another question for y'all.
Please do.
This is like a therapy
session.
This
could be a two-part podcast.
Come on.
It's our world.
But like, okay, because the youth that I work with, we talk about boundaries, setting boundaries, and by educating them, I'm educating myself. So what do you do when you set those boundaries, express who you are and how you want to be treated, you know, treated as your new self or however you're transforming, and people still treat you as your old self? Have y'all ever, are y'all experiencing that, and how do you navigate from there? Especially when it's somebody as close to you as your parents or, you know, your aunts or your sister or your best friends that you've been close with forever, but people just kind of still see you in that same light no matter how much you've said your boundaries, you've expressed it, you're trying to transform that. But some people want to allow you to be who you want to be, and not, even if it's not physically, but they continue to, like, I don't know, engage with you as if, nah, that's just little Kaya. Like, and I get that a lot because y'all,
right?
You sound like my coworker.
The big one, not
but
the
you know,
little
I've
one.
always been like the smallest person. We were talking about bullying and stuff the other day. I've been shorty McShort shuts. I've got a little voice. She don't talk. It's this and that. And, you know, people kind of put identities on you. And sometimes it's hard to come from that, even when you try to put forth big Kaya. But I mean, I'm still working on it. But how have y'all navigated that? And have you had to recently? Because now this like big Kaya closer to 30 than you are to 20.
Yeah. One, I can say that you're fully valid in having that question because, like you said, I'm still dealing with it even now at 26. Going back to what I stated earlier about just having those conversations with your parents. For example, me and my dad, like, my dad is, okay, little fun fact. Me and Douglas have gotten so much more civil.
They have the same name.
We've got
DJ.
Right. We've gotten way more civil in these past, I'd say, 3 years than we have been my whole childhood. But shout out to Douglas. I love that man. I really do. However, the thing is that we had to have a real heart-to-heart one day, because the thing is that, okay, he lives in Olive Branch or whatever have you. I live necessarily right here in East Memphis, Germantown, Carterville, like that little megaplex or whatever right here. And lo and behold, I'm at home, I'm in the bed or whatever have you. He calls me, "Hey son, I need you to do me a favor." I'm like, "Okay, what is it?" He said, "Can you please go by my house?" No, I'm sorry, I didn't say please. He said, "Go," because I remember I noted that in my head. He told me verbatim, he said, "Go to my house and get a package off of my porch and let me know when you get it." So in my head, I'm looking like, I know you didn't call me to tell me to go to get out of my bed to go to your house to get a package that you ordered that you knew what day it was going to come on, and you want me to go get it? I was confused because I'm like I said, I'm a very logical person. That just didn't process me. I was like, Amazon.
And he don't respect his elders, so you know.
Child, they take it there all the time. Oh, you just being disobedient.
She remind you of your little DJ. You the big DJ.
Now I'm telling you now, like, they'll call you disrespectful, disobedient, stuff like that. But it's like, no, I'm a logical thinker. I just need to know what your line of thinking was for this, because Amazon has a box at the bottom that says, do you want it on the side of your house? Do you want it here? Do you want it there? Do you want it in your backyard? That's what I said. If you knew you were going to be gone, we should have planned better. But all that to say this, I kind of told him no, and he didn't like that. He did not like that, y'all. Because the thing wasn't into, I had worked all day. I had class today. I had just gotten home. When I say I didn't have anything left to give, I did. And you want me to drive 25 minutes into Olive Branch to go get a simple package? I can. And then too, but mind you, the HR in me, of course, I was like, well, can I do it tomorrow? Because like I said, if I get some energy, I'm going to be more than happy to go get it. And I can put it in my mind to go do it. But it's 8 o'clock at night now. I'm not leaving my house.
So you express your boundary. You kind of said it. And what was the response from that?
He got mad and hung up the phone. And I don't do hang-ups. The one thing about me, baby, you will not hang up on me. I called him back. I blew that phone up. Because now you're being disrespectful. And I think that's the one thing that I'm just very big on when it comes to respect of stuff. It's the way you can talk to somebody. It's the way you can reply. But you're not gonna hang up in my face. I didn't give you that same energy. Don't give it to me. And once he finally was able to get back into the city from his trip or whatever, we sat down and we talked. And I was like, look, I said, I love you to death. Don't get me wrong, but I think you got to understand, I'm an adult now. And I had to have that conversation like, dog, I'm an adult. I'm not a kid. You can't talk to me like that anymore. And like I said, I'm always going to be your kid. I fully told him that. I was like, I'm always going to be your kid, but it's not going to be yeah, you my kid, you gonna do what I say. No, I'm gonna do what I'm asked to do, and if I feel it valid enough to do, then we can do that. Even when it comes to setting your boundaries, I think you just have to have that conversation respectfully to say, hey, look, mama, I know, we may have had this discussion, but moving forward, this is how it's going to work. And you set that tone. Now, if that person doesn't comply with what you have to say, and ain't nothing wrong with a friendly reminder, like, hey, mama, hey, daddy, we had that conversation. But at a certain point, they have to give you the same respect as well, because it's not going to be I'm going to excuse this behavior every time. No, I'm going to address it once, maybe twice, but after that third time, I come from the discipleship of, I ain't got to deal with you no more. I just want to engage with you. I don't care if it's mama, daddy, whoever. I just want to engage. And it's not to be mean, but it's just the fact of you have not respected me in this boundary. I just want to engage in it with you. And for example, let's say, it's putting up a towel after you get out the shower or something. If you walk in my bathroom every day and I see that it's towels on the floor and you just don't pick them up, now you ain't gonna have no towel. You're gonna have one towel for the week.
You're air drying.
Right, like you're gonna air dry, because like you said, you just have to put those parameters in place, and then if they don't comply to them, not that saying that parents have to comply with you, I'm not saying that, but in that scenario where you are setting those boundaries, just set them, assert them, kind of remind them if you have to, and then just see where they go, because then too, always bring up the respect factor as well, and too, you can convey that by saying, when you don't respect my boundaries, I feel very disrespected, and it makes me feel bad. And I think if you are able to convey that to your parents, I think that they'll have a better understanding of it. Because I told my daddy too that time, I said, when you hung up in my face, it felt like a slap in the face, because I didn't do anything to warrant that from you. I just said no, and I can possibly do it tomorrow, and then you clicked on me. That was totally disrespectful. And he understood where I was coming from, because I asked him, I said, had I done that to you, you would have blew up, wouldn't you? And he had to accept it. So I definitely understand where you're coming from, and it's a work in progress too, if it's something that you're doing brand new. But I will say, just continue to set your boundaries, talk to your people about them, and then too, if you don't like something, one thing I admire about Kenyana, she tells straight like it is. I ain't like that. I didn't like it.
And you can tell me if you didn't like something, because it's like, one, I agree completely with Douglas, and the only thing I'm adding is you got to continue to show up as yourself, because I had that problem of, okay, I'm saying it like it is, and somebody is not taking it that way, and so they're not telling me they're mad at me, or they talking behind my back, and I'm like, okay, now I'm changing who I am to make you happy, and I'm like, that's not cool. We can have a conversation, and if I'm saying something that you don't like, you can literally come to me, and I have no problem with it at all. Some people may not be able to take direct confrontation, like that, and it's like, you learn them. But for me, it's okay, come to me, tell me what it is. I just want to continue to show up as myself. Like, I don't want to feel like I have to change because of you. And so it's like, if I'm telling you, hey, this is how I operate now, I have a child to think about, or I have a job to think about, or I have a podcast to think about, or I have something to
whatever
do,
it is that you're
I don't want to pick
about.
up the package, like, and you can't understand that, I'm not finna stop who I am.
Absolutely, I agree.
That's even to like sexuality. I'm not gonna stop who I am just because you don't like it. To make myself unhappy. You know what I'm saying?
And two, and I don't even think I mentioned this earlier, but just delving back to the sexuality thing, and it's so good you brought that up about not stifling yourself or dimming your own light. One thing about me that I always knew, and this is just my own idea of thinking, I know the God that I serve. I love my God. He's wonderful. He's blessed me with so much. He truly has.
He's giving you this infectious personality.
Yes.
That everyone loves, and it's so authentic. So.
And I appreciate it. I do. And two, something else that I really realized a long time ago. When I do bad, like when I'm being messy, or I'm doing something wrong, or I'm being bad, God will get me together. Like, he'll slap me on the back of my wrist with a sandal real quick, like, hey, stop that. And I know he will, because I've seen it in real life play over and over. And then two, I kind of got to the idea mentally of God being okay with me as an individual and my choices, whether it be sexual stuff like that, because at the end of that, God could still continue to bless me. I was still able to have an amazing family, amazing friends. Y'all two ride or dies for me. I was able to go to school, going to HBCU for free. I was able to travel the world. God dropped so many blessings and gems in my life, being able to do the stuff that I love to do. At a certain point, I understood God obviously loves me, and I ain't gonna say I'm one of God's favorites, but I'm treated like that because I ain't gonna lie, he definitely has blessed me tremendously, and that was my thought process behind just getting my acceptance of myself. I got to be doing something right, because God ain't gonna keep blessing me the way he has if I'm doing something wrong or doing something bad, which also led me into just the thought process of show up as a good person every day for people. You ain't got to go out into the world being negative and mean and spiteful to folks, and just
energy comes back to you, I'm
right,
sure.
and causing chaos amongst people. It's too much work. Be kind to people, be nice to people, be respectful to folks, and God will continue to bless you. And that was just my real mentality behind it all, because like I said, I know when I act a fool, I know God gonna give me the gift, especially if I'm being messy or talking about people. God be like, nope, you gotta stop that.
You'll be convicted. You'll know, like, that
right,
was wrong
like
with me.
man. And then too, and I've gotten better at that too. And two, I've gotten better at my filter, because you know how you think of something, you gonna say it, but then you be like, no, I can't say that. So yeah, God has worked on my filter a lot as well, because I ain't gonna lie, little Douglas, little DJ, I ain't say what I wanted to, and I promise you, it just flew out my mouth, and people look at me like, why would you say that? And I'd be like, well, what? But then as I got older and I got more discernment and I understood the severity of it, man, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes it's better to be quiet. That's been my biggest lesson in all 26 years of my life. Sometimes it's better just not to say anything. Let the Lord have them. Amen.
Yes, I was just thinking of something. I lost my train of thought. Moment of silence for my train of thought.
Yeah.
Dang, I forgot, y'all.
Was
It's
with
that
the religious
mom brain.
aspect?
I don't know. It was to
The God that he serves.
Being yourself.
And we can
no,
always
I
cut
mean,
this.
it was about being yourself. I think it was about losing friends,
Oh.
because I think that's what it was. I had a fear of losing people around me if I was 100% myself. And so when I was at school, when I used to start school, I used to be really quiet. And so I even have family now that was like, Kiana's so quiet. And my mom's like, that's how she start. And I'm like, I do. I start really observant. I see how you make jokes, because I have dark humor. And so I'm like, can I make you laugh with what I tell you? You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So I'm like observing the room, observing who talking, who I can click with or whatever, and then I immerse myself, because I'm so like on eggshells about people not liking me. That's how I was growing up. And now I'm like more assertive, and I'm like, I just weed people out based on their response to what I say, or how they respond to what I say or whatever.
Absolutely.
Which is different, and it's give or take, and it makes things a little bit easier, honestly, because it's like I don't have to wait and figure out if someone likes me or who's going to be my friend, or I mean, y'all are my friends, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to, which coworker? Nope, this is how I am day one. Hey, y'all. And you just weed them out.
Man, you spoke a word on that one, especially with coworkers, because I ain't gonna lie, my previous job.
Oh, we haven't even talked about being yourself in the professional
space.
Man, I can't even lie to y'all.
Dabbled in it
a little bit.
But I can't even lie to y'all, like working in Austin, Texas, where people are very progressive and polite and stuff like that. I work for a very major company where my old coworkers in Austin, cool as a bean, like wonderful people, absolutely great. Transferred jobs and came back to Memphis, and my Memphis coworkers, man, and this gave me the real reality check of how you can show up as your authentic self, positive, kind, everything of that, and people still won't like you for it. Because one thing about me that I never understood at my old job was that whenever I help people, y'all know me, I'm a very nice person. I don't mind helping nobody. Y'all, I don't mind working with people. It was. And two, my old job, I had to do that primarily. So when people started wanting to come to Douglas and only wanting to see me or only wanting to do that, it created a lot of jealousy amongst our organization. And I never understood why, because I'm sitting there like, ain't our job to help these folks? And y'all mad because I'm actually doing a good job at it and people like me? I didn't get it. And then two, it came into the rumor mill. Oh, everybody is coming to him because he might be sleeping with everybody. Everybody's coming to him because he, breaking the rules. And it's like, What did I do? Like, I'm just here to do my job, go home and get a check. So like you said, showing up at work, going back to what you said, Kenyana, as well, I just show up as myself. I can't be nobody but Douglas. Like, and if y'all like it, cool, great. But if you don't, we can be coworkers. We ain't gotta hang out. We ain't gotta, like, it ain't no beef. You just ain't gotta like me, and that's fine. And I hate that, especially in corporate now, older people don't like you when you young and popping and, and people like you. They find that to be a threat. And I've always told people, especially with me now being in corporate as well, being in like mid-management level now, I don't get that. I'm here for me to get a check. I ain't worried about y'all. And it kills me because it's like folks to bring drama to you or to you, and you be like, I'm just here to finance my life. I don't care about y'all really.
But I know what it is. Some people, because I feel like I'm dealing with it. I'm not old or anything, but once you sit in discomfort for so long, maybe they've been in that same position. They haven't expressed themselves. They haven't showed up how they want to in that space. So you envy it. Now you like, I've been here for 20 years sitting in this discomfort so much that now it's going to explode because somebody fresh and new is here that is okay with expressing themselves. And, it's not excusing their behavior, but I think it should say no matter how old you are, never be afraid to just give yourself a restart or a refresh. Allow yourself, if you want to reinvent yourself, just find a new way to express yourself instead of the experience you had. Older people that's been sitting in that discomfort in their shell for so long, now they trying to sabotage you. Instead, maybe I'm trying to teach myself, but just take it as motivation to refresh whenever you feel the time calls for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think God will help you through that as well. I was thinking about that the other day because I was doing my little braids. I was like, you know what? Them braids was getting on my nerves, but I did that little bun and it refreshed it into a whole new style. But I think it also applies to your life. God can take the same stale you or the discomfort you and turn it into a brand new whoever you need to be at that point in your life.
Insert some praise music.
Shout out.
I say insert the last episode, then insert a dang on thing. Okay, so
we practicing, y'all. She working hard.
We'll see if it makes it. But I think that's a good way to not wrap the conversation up because we can get into our responsible thing. But we are talking as our 20-something selves, and we have 40-something-year-old friends, co-workers. We have 15-year-old friends, family members who see us, who interact with us very differently. So this younger generation may be like, you ain't expressing yourself fully. You need to go harder. Because if I ever bring up something to my god sister, she's just like, so what about that? And she's digging into it. I'm like, it's okay, girl. Like, I'm okay. And then if I'm talking to my mama, she's like, that's too deep. And I'm like, girl, this is just the surface level for me. Yeah. So I think that's good about, like, one, I think just interact with different people because they'll teach you so much about yourself or push you to a limit to be like, oh, let me think about that. Or, okay, that's too much to think about. But, like, and not, like Douglas said, sit there and be envious or jealous because somebody's being themselves. Like, go ask them, like, hey, Douglas, how are you, Douglas? Like, how do you come up to work every day and it's, like, excited and, like, being you? Like, what's motivating you, So don't be afraid to just have a conversation with someone. That could change your life.
Absolutely. I fully agree.
Any other advice about being yourself that you want to give, Kaya? And then we can end with you, Douglas.
No, I wanted to, well, I guess we all should go around, but I wanted to give.
So.
Okay, that was yours. So let's see. What would be like my one tip of gifting yourself the presence of being unapologetically me or you or whomever?
Oh, I like that.
I don't know. What would be my one tip or gift? Oh, this is hard, y'all. We're going to have to cut out the silence.
That's fine. The silence is real.
The silence is real, yes.
It's a thought. If you have something before her, Douglas, feel free.
I think for me, just if I can be very transparent, I just always live by the rules of treat others as you want to be treated. I think that's the best thing that I can do every day. I try to treat people how I want to be treated, with kindness, with respect, with being polite, just being an overall nice person. Because like I said before, working in mental health, but also working in HR as well, where you have a lot of people who come into your office with problems, it's so many people around here who are walking around smiling and laughing and, you know, showing up like we said as their, you know, best selves and stuff like that. But inside their head, they're going through hell every day. And you don't know what small little interaction may either take them over the edge or make their day. And like I said, we live in an age now where it's a lot of struggle out here. Folks fighting about politics, folks, you know, in Memphis getting crazy about driving and stuff like that. Bills high, MLG and robbery taking money from us every month. It's a lot of stuff to be upset about these days, and I fully get it. But at the same time, I just always try to be a person's bright spot in their day, if that makes sense. Like whether I'm helping somebody through something or I'm giving them a tidbit of advice or something like that. Showing up as myself is really cultivating me into being who I am by wanting to be a helper and wanting to be a support system and wanting to be a bright spot for people. So really, like I said before, just treat others as you want to be treated, because like I said, it's so much stuff going on nowadays. Like I said before, a person can smile in your face every day and then go shoot themselves or hurt themselves. I'm sorry, trigger warning, hurt themselves, of course. And I mean, it was just based on a person just having a negative day or a negative interaction. So if I can be a positive person or a bright spot in that person's one part of the day, whether I'm a big one or a small one, at least I know I contributed something positive to them and to the world that day. So that's what just keeps me motivated to really show up as myself. And two, having great friends like y'all who remind me of like being a good person and doing those good things and really just, you know, accomplishing all my goals. Because sometimes when you're in the thick of it and in the middle of it, you don't realize how much stuff you really do until your friends or somebody come around and be like, dang, Douglas, do you realize how much stuff you do? Or like a mental check-in with yourself, like, dang, you are juggling, going to school, working full-time, traveling, supporting people, this, that, and the third. It's a lot. So that for me, just to round it all up, of course, I think just treating others as you want to be treated and just showing up as myself just unapologetically really coincides with just me wanting to be a bright spot for people.
That's good.
And I guess I'll keep it sweet, but don't second guess yourself, because a common motif I kind of can see is, even when getting that little Sprite that Kenana told me to get, you know, I questioned it. I should have just, you know, went for it. And that doesn't mean not to prepare. You know, we've talked about this before. I'm going to be the over prepared, the note taker. I like the rules. I'm a rule girl.
We love it.
But I want to follow the rules, but I also want to respect my intuition. So I think when you second guess yourself, you kind of question what you have internally. And so just don't second guess yourself. Learn from your intuition and go for it.
That is beautiful.
Absolutely.
You had to be there that day to think that, because that's stuck with you. I'm saying your entire life, like we're 50, but I'm sure when you're 50 you'll still think about the Sprite.
I probably will.
Shout out to you, even if we hate each other by then, like still think about it, okay?
I still learn from you.
If I'm stealing your mail and, you know, you ran my dog over, whatever happens when you're 50.
Oh Lord.
Just remember that those moments happen, like those hard moments happen for us, the good moments happen for us, the challenging, the awakening moments to make us who we are. And you just have to kind of allow it. It's hard at times, though. Like, we've all been through hard times, right? And then that thick of it, you like, this is the worst thing ever. I don't know how I'm gonna come out of this. And then a whole year later, you be like, okay, God, I see why you did that.
Man.
Like, I see why I had to go through that. Like, you don't have to do that again.
Yeah.
Don't. But like, you know, thank you for doing that, because now that made me who I am today.
Yeah, it's to like your toolbox of showing up as yourself.
Yeah.
So I get that.
And last but certainly not least, if I have another piece of tidbit advice just to give people, get yourself some good friends, please. I ain't gonna lie, with these two right here who've been riding with me since what, 6th, 7th grade now, it's such a blessing to have friends as wonderful as my friends, because like I said, I brag on these girls all the time, but at the same time, get yourself some real good friends. At the end of the day, folks will have you out here doing stupid stuff. Are you gonna go jump off the bridge, the cliff? You wanna go do this, get in trouble?
Now you sound like the old
Man, I know, and I get why, because I ain't gonna lie, I'm very grateful for y'all, because at the end of the day, we had our fun in our teen years stuff, but we wasn't wild now. Like, we wasn't out here doing half the
We
stuff.
were responsible.
Man.
Irresponsibly responsible.
Right, irresponsible, responsible,
right.
of course. But no, get yourself some amazing friends and get yourself some very good friends you can talk with as well. I think amongst the three of us, we are very open to one another. We show up for one another, of course, but we're also kind to one another. And I don't think there's anything that all three of us can't sit down and discuss with each other to where we can't necessarily get over. We're all very understanding people. We're all very receptive people. And I think that because of that, it's made us even stronger as a group. Because like I said before, I know I can go to Kenyatta and talk with her about anything. I know I can go to Kaya and talk about anything with her. And I think that, and I hope they feel that way with me too. Because like I say, I'm a non-judgmental person. I know they are too. I think that we show up for one another because in a sense we are a reflection of one another for each other. And I really love that about us because like I said before, it ain't nothing I can't call you for that I can't just bounce off your head, and vice versa for you too, to where I can get some not only good advice but some sound advice as well. Because sometimes people tell you stuff that they wouldn't do their own selves, but I feel like if these two gave me something, I feel like they would definitely be able to implement it themselves too. So you gotta get yourself some real good friends around you too. Yeah. Life already hard. Have somebody to complain to about it.
It's a beautiful heart though, you know. It's ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's just hills and valleys.
It is.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, so the name of the podcast is Irresponsibly Responsible, right? So, I mean, we talk about what we did this week, and if there's an irresponsible thing that you did or a responsible thing.
Okay.
So, you know, have some time to think about it.
Okay.
We can always edit the video, the recording if we need some time.
What did I do irresponsibly this week? What did I do?
I can start.
Okay, go ahead.
I started back work this week, and I actually did work. So that's very responsible of me. Like, I was
said
at
she was
work
in the
on
office.
time.
Right.
9:30. It started at 9, but 9:30. That's on time.
No, that's
for me.
good.
Yes.
When I was pregnant, it was 10.
Right.
10:30.
We're getting better.
If my coworkers are listening, you knew. Because it's like, what y'all gonna do now? Like, you was there when I was walking in. It was hard pregnant. But I'm glad that I showed up and that I didn't cry when I was at work. Drace is doing good with doing. He be yelling at him, but it's good. So it's very responsible of me. And so, yeah, I'll just stop there. Yeah.
Okay. A responsible or irresponsible moment of the week?
A responsible moment for this week. Honestly, truly, and well, I can say it, I don't care. I finally got over the hump of paying off one of my credit cards. So now I'm like under that 50% utilization. And now I'm only down to 41, making my way down to hopefully zero within these next few months.
All right.
So
Dave Ramsey, sponsor us.
Man, I ain't gonna lie.
Day.
I ain't gonna lie. Like, paying down credit cards, if I can tell anybody anything out there, the responsible thing to do, don't rack them junks up. But the extra responsible thing to do is that when you do make a purchase, pay it off then. Pay it then. If you got the funds for it, pay it then. But yes, that was the responsible thing. Oh yeah, and then too, I knocked out 2 of my projects that are due within the next 3 weeks for class. So I ain't got to worry about that. So yeah, those are the 2 responsible things I did this week.
Douglas is working a full-time job and in a master's program. So
man,
I don't think there's anything irresponsible you can do. Like,
check on your friends in school, man. Just check on them.
You almost there. We're not gonna let you quit. I don't care if you on your last leg. I'm gonna put you in a wheelchair.
I can't quit, man. What is it? August 2025. We out there thing. Just
almost
we
there.
out.
It's in the bag.
Yes.
Ooh, okay, irresponsible thing for the week. Yeah, my week was a blur, to be honest. Oh, okay. Y'all know what was responsible.
Okay.
Which it was so hard. Y'all, I don't take off of work unless like I'm literally out of town. I took off for a day for no reason at all. And I did some stuff at home. Like, I ain't go to sleep, so, you know. But I did prioritize, like, my sense of, like, need and rest. And I was like, I just need to take off a day. Because I do not do that. It may seem so simple if I was like, yeah, I took off 3 days last week. No, I only take off if I'm physically not in Memphis to do my job. But I'm proud of myself for making that call, taking off. I slip in late, which is like 8:45, but
it's beautiful,
right?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, that was my responsible thing, prioritizing my rest when I needed to. Yep,
As good of a reason as any. I ain't mad.
I feel like I did something irresponsible though this week. I'm trying to make it sound all good. Oh,
Not putting you on blast.
Yeah, he just put me on blast.
You started off very responsible doing it.
I was trying to be so responsible. Justice was like,
wait,
okay.
You have to explain what
you did. Go ahead and give him a back.
So I've been having problems with my tires because the weather. It be cold in the morning, hot in the evening. So one tire 38, the other one 22. It's crazy, y'all. So my dad put tire air in one of them, and then it blew up to 40. Y'all, it's supposed to be 35 psi. So I'm riding with one tire big. So I'm like, let me go. Shut up.
You in a cartoon.
Okay. Shut up. Then my window. Okay, yeah. I'm really irresponsible with my car. I ain't got my oil changed when I was supposed to.
Okay,
my air.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about the tire.
Air in the tire. I said I'm going to do it by myself. Duh. I seen somebody do it, so I can do it. My boyfriend like, I can ride up there with you to do it. No, it's cool. How hard could it be? Yeah, I get there. I twist the little cap off. I put the thing on there. We're doing good. I set the machine to 35. Going up. Cool. It's 20. We get up to 21, 22, 16, 15, 14. What is going on, y'all? I let all the air out of my tire.
Lord.
And you got to pay $2 to use the air for like 3 minutes or 5 minutes
it's a
or
short
something.
Time.
So I let all the air out of my tire. I tried to be responsible, independent, strong black woman. But I ended up having to call Justice. He came to the rescue, and his first words when he walked up, he's like, "What tire is it? Oh man, you done f***ed up your tire." Because you could visibly see it, y'all. The little tire was smushed as a little pancake. So I'm glad it wasn't worse, because that could have been really irresponsible if it was like on the ground. I don't know how that works, but it worked out. You know, sometimes you go into situations thinking you being so responsible and it's going to happen. And sometimes it doesn't. But I didn't let that get me down. So my response to it was responsible.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
You got the help you needed.
I got the help I needed.
You
and
got your
we here. I drove here.
Yes.
All my tires they not the same pressure, but at least my air pressure light not on no more.
Okay. That's all that matters.
So that's that. This was fun, y'all.
Now, this was so much fun.
It probably was a little longer than usual, but I mean, some people like long podcasts, and I do too. So I don't mind listening back. Any closing words?
I want to thank y'all for having me. As I greatly do appreciate y'all. Y'all know I have all the love and respect in the world for the both of you. I would love to come back very soon. Y'all just tell me what topics, and I will be here. But yes, no, I've thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I appreciate you all for having me. And thank y'all so much.
Thank you, DJ. All right, y'all.
All right.
We'll see y'all next time on Irresponsibly Responsible with Kaya
And Kenyana.
or
Peace
Kai.
out,
And Kian.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, I did it.